Right now, as you hear these words, there is something in you that is aware of your thoughts. Who is that? Who is watching your mind? You wake up, and within seconds, the mind begins. A cascade of thoughts about the day ahead, about yesterday's conversation, about something you said 5 years ago that still makes you wince. The thoughts come like rain, unannounced, relentless, filling every corner of your inner sky. You think you are thinking these thoughts. But have you ever stopped to notice that you are also watching them? There is a difference between the river and the bank. The river flows, changes, rushes forward. But the bank remains, witnessing the water pass. Your thoughts are the river. But you, the deepest you, are the bank. Most of us spend our entire lives identifying with the river. We say, I am anxious. We say, I am angry. We say, I am not enough. But these are not statements of identity. They are weather reports from the mind, and weather changes. The ancient Sufis used to say that the mind is like a guest house. Every morning, new visitors arrive, joy, sorrow, fear, hope. Some arrive quietly. Others kick down the door, but none of them own the house. You do. And yet, we live as though the guests are the landlord. We rearrange our entire lives around their moods. We make decisions based on their whispers. We forget that we are the space in which they appear, not the guests themselves. This forgetting is the root of so much suffering. When you believe you are your thoughts, you become trapped inside them. There is no distance, no breathing room. The mind becomes a prison where the walls are made of your own words. But here is the truth that changes everything. You are not your thoughts. You never were. Consciousness is not something you do. It is what you are. Right now, there is an awareness present. It is reading these words, hearing the sounds around you, feeling the weight of your body. This awareness is not produced by thinking. It is the light in which thinking appears. You cannot think your way to this awareness because you are already it. It is like an eye trying to see itself. The eye does not need to see itself to exist. It is the condition for all seeing. The mind is a beautiful instrument. It calculates, plans, remembers, imagines. But it is not the master, it is the servant. And somewhere along the way, the servant convinced you that it was running the household. This is what the Zen masters called the gateless gate. The door to freedom is not locked. There is no door at all. You are already on the other side. You just keep imagining a barrier. Consider this when you say, I am thinking. Who is the I that notices the thinking? Is it another thought? If it were, who would notice that thought? You would fall into an infinite regress, an endless chain of thoughts watching thoughts. The truth is simpler. There is awareness, and there is thinking. The awareness does not come from the thinking. The thinking arises within awareness like waves on the ocean. The ocean does not need the waves to be the ocean. You are the ocean. When you realize this, not intellectually, but directly, a shift happens. The thoughts continue, but they lose their hypnotic grip. You see them as movements in consciousness, not as the whole of who you are. This seeing is not detachment. It is true intimacy. For the first time, you are fully present with your experience without being consumed by it. The mind will resist this. It has built an entire identity around being in control. It will say, but if I'm not my thoughts, then who am I? And this question is itself a thought, trying to protect its territory. Let the question be. Do not answer it with another thought. Instead, Rest in the awareness that is asking. That awareness is closer to you than your own breath. It is not far away, not something to achieve. It is the most obvious thing, hidden only by its own simplicity. The mystics have always known this. Rumi wrote, "You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in a drop." He was pointing to this. The small self, the thinking self, believes it is a fragment, but the aware self knows it is whole. So how do you meet this awareness in your daily life? Start small. Start now. Pause for a moment. Feel your breath moving in and out. Do not control it. Just notice it. Now notice who is noticing the breath. Do not answer with a thought. Simply be curious. Let your attention rest on the awareness itself, not on the content of awareness. This is not a technique to master. It is a remembering. You are simply recognizing what has always been here. Throughout your day, practice this gentle return. When you are lost in worry, ask who is aware of this worry. When you are swept up in a story about yourself, ask who is watching this story. The asking itself creates space, and in that space you are free. You do not need to stop thinking. You do not need to empty your mind or achieve some special state. You only need to recognize that you are not contained by the mind. You are the space in which the mind moves. This recognition is not the end of the journey. It is the beginning. It is the moment you stop being the character in the story, and remember you are also the page, the ink, and the hand holding the book. Right now, something in you is aware of these words. That something is not bound by time. It does not age, does not accumulate, it does not need fixing. It is whole already, and it is watching. You have been playing a role for so long, you forgot it was a performance. But who is the actor beneath the mask? Since childhood, you have been collecting labels: daughter, son, student, success, failure, anxious one, confident one, the one who always tries too hard, the one who never tries hard enough. These labels came from parents, teachers, friends, society, and slowly, quietly, you began to believe them. You looked in the mirror of other people's opinions and decided that reflection was you. But a reflection is not the thing itself. It is light bouncing off a surface, a copy, an interpretation. And yet, you have spent your life defending a reflection, improving a reflection, suffering over a reflection. The mind loves identity. It craves definition. I am this. I am not that. It draws borders and builds walls. It says, this is me, and that is the world. And in that division, suffering is born, because the truth is, you are not a fixed thing. You are not a noun. You are a verb, a process, an unfolding. The you that you defend so fiercely is a story the mind tells, updated every moment, rewritten with every experience. Think of how much energy you spend maintaining this story. How much anxiety arises from protecting it. How much anger comes from someone challenging it. How much sadness comes from believing it is not enough. But who would you be without your story? This question terrifies the mind, because the story is how the mind knows itself. It is the map the ego uses to navigate the world. And the thought of losing the map feels like losing everything. But you are not the map. You are the territory itself. The ego is not an enemy. It is a function. Like the heart pumps blood, the mind constructs a sense of self. This is useful. It helps you navigate the world, make decisions, form relationships. But the ego is not consciousness. It is an object within consciousness. The confusion happens when the ego claims to be the author of your life. It says, I am the one who is aware, but awareness does not belong to the ego. The ego appears within awareness like a cloud appears in the sky. The Sufis tell a story of a man who searched for God everywhere, in temples, books, mountaintops. Finally, exhausted, he returned home. And there, in the mirror, he saw God looking back at him. Not because he was God, but because he had stopped searching and simply looked. This is the paradox: you cannot find what you are. You can only stop pretending to be what you are not. Your identity is a costume. And you are wearing so many costumes, layered one upon another, that you have forgotten the body beneath. But the body does not go away when you remove the costumes. It is relieved. The question, who am I, is not meant to be answered by the mind. If you answer it with a thought, I am a teacher, I am a seeker, I am consciousness, you are still in the realm of identity, still playing the game. The question is meant to dissolve the questioner. Ask it sincerely. Ask it without reaching for an answer. Ask it until the mind grows silent and still. And in that silence, something reveals itself. Not a concept, not an idea, but a presence. A knowing that does not need words. This presence is what the Zen masters called original face. It is what you were before your parents were born. It is what remains when all identities fall away. You are not the roles you play. You are not the beliefs you hold. You are not the emotions you feel or the thoughts you think. You are the awareness in which all of this appears. And this awareness has no edges, no boundaries, no definitions. It is vast, open, free. The mind will try to capture this in language. It will say, I am awareness. But even this is too much, because the implies separation. It implies a someone who possesses awareness. But you do not possess awareness. You are awareness appearing as a person, as a mind, as a body. You are the ocean pretending to be a wave, forgetting that the wave is made entirely of ocean. Today, notice when you are defending your identity. Notice when someone criticizes you and anger arises. Notice when someone praises you and pride arises. These reactions are clues. They show you where you are still identified. When the reaction comes, pause. Do not suppress it, but do not believe it completely either. Instead, ask who is feeling this. Who is protecting this image? You will find that the one who is protecting is also just a thought, a voice in the mind claiming to be you. But you are the one who hears the voice. Practice letting identities be loose, fluid, playful. You can be a teacher in one moment and a student in the next. You can be confident and uncertain, strong and vulnerable. These are not contradictions. They are the natural dance of being human. The freedom is not in choosing the right identity. The freedom is in knowing you are none of them, and therefore all of them. The mask is beautiful. The performance is necessary. But you are not the mask. You are the face beneath it. You are not the performance. You are the stillness in which the performance unfolds. You have always been whole. You have always been enough. The search ends where it began here, now in the quiet space of your own awareness. You are free. But the mind is building a cage, thought by thought, and calling it safety. There is a loop playing in your head. It starts the moment you wake up and continues until sleep finally silences it. Sometimes it is quiet, a gentle hum in the background. Other times it is deafening, a storm of worries, regrets, plans, judgments. This is the voice of the mind, and for most of your life, you have believed this voice is you. It tells you stories about the past, how you should have spoken differently, acted differently, been different. It replays scenes over and over, each time adding a little more pain, a little more shame. It tells you stories about the future, what might go wrong, what you need to achieve to finally be okay. It projects 1,000 possible outcomes, most of them negative, and calls this being prepared. It tells you stories about other people, what they think of you, what they are doing wrong, how they should change, how you compare. And it tells you stories about yourself, that you are broken, that you are behind, that you are too much or not enough, that if you could just fix this one thing, everything would fall into place. These stories are convincing. They feel true. They feel urgent. They feel like they matter. But here is what the mind does not want you to know. Most of these stories are not true. And even the ones that contain truth are not as important as they seem. The mind creates problems because solving problems is its job. If there are no problems, the mind invents them. It cannot simply rest in peace. Peace feels like death to the mind. And so it keeps you busy, keeps you struggling, keeps you reaching for the next thing. This is not your fault. This is the nature of thought. Thought is a survival mechanism. It is designed to scan for danger, to plan, to protect. But it was never meant to run the whole show. Somewhere along the way, the survival mechanism became the tyrant. And now you are living in a prison made of your own thinking. Thought is not the enemy. Thought is a tool. A hammer is useful for building. But if you take a hammer to bed with you, hold it all day, swing it at every moment, you will hurt yourself and everyone around you. The problem is not that you think. The problem is that you believe every thought that arises is true, important, and yours. But thoughts are not facts. They are events in consciousness, like sounds or sensations. They come and go. They change shape. They contradict each other. One moment the mind says, "You are doing great." The next moment it says, "You are failing." Both cannot be true. Yet you believe both when they appear. The Buddha taught that suffering is born from clinging. We cling to pleasure, to identity, to control. But the deepest clinging is to thought itself. We cling to our interpretations, our narratives, our beliefs about how life should be. And in that clinging, we miss life as it actually is. Life is not a story. It is this moment, exactly as it is. The breath moving, the sounds around you, the aliveness in your body, the awareness that contains it all. But the mind cannot live in this moment. The present moment offers nothing for the mind to do. There is no problem to solve here, no future to secure, no past to correct, and so the mind pulls you away into imagination, into memory, into projection. This pulling away is so constant, so habitual, that you do not even notice it. You live 5 minutes ahead or 5 years behind, rarely touching the ground of now. And yet, now is all there is. The past is a memory, a thought about what was. The future is an imagination, a thought about what might be. Both exist only in the mind. The only reality is this moment. When you see this clearly, something shifts. You realize that most of your suffering is optional. It is not happening in reality, it is happening in thought. Yes, real pain exists. Loss exists. Hardship exists. But suffering, the mental and emotional agony that extends far beyond the moment, is created by thought. It is created by resisting what is, by wishing things were different, by arguing with reality. Byron Katie once said, "When I argue with reality, I lose, but only 100% of the time." This is not about giving up or being passive. It is about seeing clearly. When you stop arguing with what is, you can respond from clarity instead of reactivity. Begin to notice the difference between reality and the story about reality. When you feel anxious, pause. Ask, is there danger right now, in this moment, or is the anxiety coming from a thought about the future? When you feel hurt, pause. Ask, what is the actual event, and what is the story I am telling about it? This is not about denying your feelings. It is about seeing where they come from. Most of the time, the feelings are not responses to the present moment. They are responses to thoughts. You do not need to stop thinking. You cannot. But you can learn to hold thoughts lightly, the way you might hold a bird. If you grip too tightly, you crush it. If you open your hand, it might fly away. Either way, you are not the bird. When a painful thought arises, you do not have to believe it. You do not have to push it away. You can simply see it as what it is, a thought, a movement in the mind, temporary, impermanent. This seeing creates freedom, not because the thoughts stop, but because you are no longer imprisoned by them. You are not your thoughts. You are the space in which thoughts arise, and that space is vast, quiet, free. The mind will keep spinning its stories. Let it. But do not mistake the movie for your life. Your life is here, now, breathing, aware. This is where freedom has always been waiting. You have been searching for peace in 1,000 places, but it was never hiding. You were just looking in the wrong direction. There is an exhaustion that comes from seeking. From trying to improve, to heal, to transcend, to become someone other than who you are right now. You have read the books. You have followed the teachers. You have practiced the techniques. And still, there is a quiet ache, a sense that something is missing. What if nothing is missing? What if the achy itself is just another story? For years, you have been taught that you are broken and need fixing, that you are incomplete and need to find your other half, that you are far from enlightenment and need to climb toward it. But what if the journey has no destination because you are already there? What if presence is not something to attain, but something to recognize? The word presence has become so overused that it has almost lost its meaning. But let us return to it with fresh eyes. Presence is not a state. It is not calmness or bliss or clarity. It is the simple fact of being here, now aware. You are already present. You cannot not be present. Even when you are lost in thought, presence is still here, holding the thought. Even when you are anxious or distracted, awareness is still the background in which the anxiety appears. The illusion is that you need to get to presence. But you cannot travel to where you already are. The seeking itself is what keeps you from seeing it. You are looking for something grand, something different from this moment. And in the looking, you miss the obviousness of what is. Presence is not found. It is recognized. Right now, as you read these words, there is a sense of being here. You do not have to create it. You do not have to concentrate to make it happen. It is already the case. This sense of being is prior to thought, prior to emotion, prior to identity. It does not come and go. It is constant, unchanging, always present. The mind overlooks it because it is too simple. The mind wants complexity, drama, progress. But presence offers none of that. It offers only this, the quiet, unadorned fact of awareness. Eckhart Tolle writes, "Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have." This is not philosophy. It is direct observation. The past is gone. The future has not arrived. What remains is now. And now is not a moment in time. It is the dimension in which all time appears. When you rest in presence, everything changes and nothing changes. The world continues. Thoughts continue. But you are no longer lost in them. You are the space in which they unfold. This is what spiritual traditions have pointed to for millennia. They use different words: Buddha nature, Christ consciousness, the Tao, the self. But they are all pointing to the same recognition. You are not separate from existence. You are existence aware of itself. The Sufis say, wherever you turn, there is the face of God, not because God is an external being, but because everything is an expression of the same underlying presence. You are not meeting God. You are the meeting itself. This recognition does not make you special. It makes you ordinary in the most beautiful way. You are not a chosen one, not an enlightened master. You are simply awake to what has always been here. And this awakeness is available to everyone, always. It is not reserved for monks or mystics. It is your birthright. It is the ground of your being. Stop. Right now. Stop reading for just a moment. Feel the weight of your body. The contact between you and what is beneath you. Notice the sounds around you. Do not name them. Just hear them. Feel your breath in and out, effortless. Now notice you are aware of all of this. And that awareness is not something you are doing. It is already here, naturally present. This is it. This is the presence you have been seeking. It is not dramatic. It is not ecstatic. It is quiet, simple, and always accessible. When you lose yourself in thought, return here. Not as a task, not as a discipline, but as a coming home. You do not need to force anything. Simply notice I am here. I am aware. This noticing is the doorway, and the more you pass through it, the more you realize the doorway and the room are the same thing. You are not practicing presence. You are recognizing it. And with each recognition, the hold of the mind weakens. Not because you are fighting the mind, but because you are no longer fooled by it. Life will still challenge you. Pain will still come. But you will meet it from a different place. Not from the small self that resists and contracts, but from the vast awareness that can hold it all. This is not detachment. It is true intimacy. You are no longer running from your experience. You are fully here with it, as it. You have traveled far to arrive here. And here was always home. The search is over. Not because you found something, but because you stopped looking away. You are the awareness you have been seeking. You are the peace you have been chasing. You are the wholeness you have been longing for. Not tomorrow, not after more healing or more growth. Now, this moment, this breath, the one who is watching your mind is not separate from you. It is you in your deepest truth. And it has been here all along, patiently waiting for you to remember. You are not lost. You never were. You are home.